Greetings, everyone. Have you ever received advice that seems to follow you throughout your life? When you're making a decision, you either consciously or subconsciously revert back to that advice? I think we all have. I like to call that life lessons or rules to live by, and we all have those. Let's talk about it. One piece of advice I learned early on was from my first boss, my very first job, and he looked at me knowing that I had very little experience and said, if you don't know what it is, don't touch it. Or if you don't know what it does, don't touch it. And I didn't fully understand that at the time. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? So, of course, like they say, curiosity kills the cat. I know at least once along the line I touched something that I wasn't sure what it did or what was going to happen, and unfortunately it made things worse. It gave me an adverse reaction to what I was hoping for, not really knowing what I was hoping for, not knowing what that button was going to do. Generally speaking, and from my experience, if that button was going to make the situation better, somebody would have already pushed it. So when it comes to decision making, that's one of those things where, generally speaking, if you're not sure what's going to happen, don't do anything. Think it through, because more than likely you're going to have an adverse effect that you're going to have to figure out at that point. Another piece of advice that I received early on in my professional career was, if you broke it, you bought it. I think we all know where this comes from. When you're a kid walking through a store and you pick something up, you're tinkering with it, you're looking at it, you're checking it out, and you drop it. Bang, you broke it. Guess what? You own it now because the shopkeeper can't sell it. So basically that's where this whole you broke it, you bought it came from. If you're responsible for something and you break it, who are you going to call? Well, you're going to call Ghostbusters. They're not going to be much help with whatever it is you just broke. So generally speaking, be careful, because again, if you broke it, you bought it. It's embarrassing, it hurts, it stinks, it sucks, it's, a lot of different things, but you get back up on that horse and you figure it out. Generally speaking, life doesn't come with a built-in crash helmet. So, there's going to be no one coming behind you to sweep up the pieces when you screw something up. So when you screw it up, you put your big boy panties on, big girl panties on, you pick up the pieces and you put it back together and you figure out where it went wrong and you move forward and you fix it and you move forward. Another piece of advice I'd learned, again, relatively early on, is don't be sorry, be careful. It's funny how, we'll take an apology, but what's better is having something that works. So if you mess with something and you're not paying that close attention to it and you break it, you got to go back and you got to apologize, and then ultimately you got to fix it anyway. So why not take the time and do it right? Get it done, make sure. That way, again, in my experience, most things aren't a race. People would rather have work done properly the right way the first time, whether it takes an hour. I think they'd rather see it take 2 hours and have it done the right way. So what do they say? How come there's never not enough time to do something right, but there's always enough time to do it again? It's the same thing. It's like you do something quickly, you do it incorrectly, and then you end up having to go back, and it's probably going to take you more than twice as long because you're going to have to undo what you've done and then go back and redo it the correct way this time. So at any rate, that's another quick one. Another thing I learned along the way, keep this in mind, if you saw my first intro video, I'm full of bad ideas. That is not an overstatement. So at any rate, one of these other things that people say is, I guess what Confucius say, a wise man learns from his mistakes. A wiser man learns from others' mistakes. If you believe that and listen to it and learn it and live it and love it, things will be a lot smoother in your life. Me, I'm a slow learner. I'm the latter. I learn from my own mistakes, and Lord knows I've made enough mistakes. However, I pick up the pieces, I move along, and that's who's made me who I am. Again, there are a lot smarter people out there than me, If you can learn from somebody else's mistake, your life will have a lot less bumps and valleys, a lot more peaks than bumps and valleys. So, along with advice that I've talked about already, not all advice is good. And again, I'm giving you a few things that I've heard, that I've grown up, been listening to, and I adhere to, and I believe I've had enough experience in every one of these situations to know that they're pretty accurate. If you think about it, and they apply to all kinds of different things, not just, in my case, they specifically to IT, but they're not, it's decisions we make every day in our life. One of the other things, again, there are a lot of people giving you advice out there. Not all advice is good. Another thing I've said for quite a few years now is, there's a phrase, everybody's good for something, even if it's just a bad example. There are people out there, we have screw-ups, we have aunts, uncles, parents, friends that just can't get out of their own way. They can't make a good decision. They always seem to be behind the 8 ball, looking over their shoulder for something they did or didn't do. So keep that in mind. You can learn from bad advice or bad examples too. I could go on and on and on, but I don't want this video to be too terribly long. I'm sure you can relate to a lot of these, and you probably have quite a few of your own. So feel free to drop a comment below with your thoughts and maybe what some of your rules to live by or life's rules are. Things that, again, either consciously or subconsciously come into your head when you're making decisions or you're getting ready to take action on something. At any rate, thanks for your time. Have a good evening. If you found this video informative or entertaining, feel free to like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.